Your child is screaming. There's blood on his face. The dog belongs to your neighbor. And in the chaos of grabbing your son and calling 911, you turn to the dog's owner and say the worst thing you could say. It's okay, accidents happen. Dina said just that. Her 7-year-old Jalen was bitten across the cheek at a backyard playdate. She meant it in the moment. What she didn't know is that under Maryland law, those words go into a file, and the insurance adjuster reading that file will try to use them to argue that Dina accepted what happened. Hi, I'm Bobby Zirkin with Zirkin and Schmerling Injury Lawyers. If your child was just bitten by a dog, what you do in the next 48 hours matters more than what happens in the next 3 years to some extent. That sentence may end up being the most expensive thing she ever said. Before you think about insurance, before you think about anyone's feelings, take care of your child. Get to an emergency room. Not urgent care, but to the emergency room. Dog bites carry serious infection risk. Puncture wounds drive bacteria deep into the tissue, and bite injuries on children are often worse than they first appear. A doctor will clean and treat the wound, evaluate whether stitches or surgery are needed, and document everything. That medical record is the foundation of any future claim. It connects your child's injury to the bite and locks in the severity on day one. Then document everything yourself. Photograph the wound the day it happens. Photograph it again the next morning. Every day after that, as the injuries develop, bruise, swell, and scar, take pictures. Take more than you think you need. Once a wound starts healing, those early photos become really important evidence in the case. Report the bite to your local animal control office. This creates an official government record of the incident, which dog, when, where, and triggers the quarantine observation for rabies. That record carries legal weight. One more thing. Be careful what you say to anyone, including the dog's owner. Don't say, it's okay. Don't say, my kid was probably too close to the dog. Don't say, accidents happen. Maryland follows contributory negligence, and the adjuster will mine every conversation for anything that suggests that the victim contributed to the bite, or that you did. Your words in that first conversation become their file. What to do first: emergency medical care, daily photo documentation, animal control report, and don't say anything. Not a single word to an insurance company until you have spoken with an attorney. It's the insurance company, not your friend. This is the part that stops parents cold. The dog belongs to someone that you care about. Filing a claim feels like a betrayal. It isn't. When you file a dog bite claim for your child, you are filing against the dog owner's homeowner's or renter's insurance policy. That policy exists for exactly this situation. Your friend pays premiums every month, so the insurance company handles the cost when their dog injures someone. Your friend doesn't write the check. An adjuster handles the process. The policy pays. Filing a claim against your friend's insurance isn't choosing money over friendship. It's choosing your child. If you want the full breakdown of how this process works, how the insurance system protects the relationship, not just the case, watch our video on how to file a dog bite claim against a friend in Maryland. I walk through every step there. What to find out: does the dog owner have homeowners or renters insurance? Your attorney needs that answer before anything else. Why children's cases are worth more. The adjuster already knows this. They're moving before you do. Remember Jalen. His stitches came out, the wound closed. Dina thought the worst was over. Then a plastic surgeon evaluated the scar on the child's cheek and identified permanent tissue damage that wasn't obvious to the naked eye. A scar on a 7-year-old's face is not a temporary injury. It's something the child carries for the rest of his life, both physically and emotionally. Courts and juries understand this. The legal system values a visible scar on a child differently than a scar on an adult because the child has decades ahead of them to live with it. Future medical costs become a big part of this case. Revision surgeries at 12, again at 16, potentially again as an adult. The emotional damage is just as real and just as compensable. Children who are bitten by dogs develop lasting fear of animals, anxiety, nightmares, and behavioral changes that show up at school, at friends' homes, and in daily life. That trauma may require therapy that extends months or years beyond the physical healing. Those costs are part of the claim. Here's the trap. The insurance company will try to settle fast, before the full scope of your child's injuries are clear. For a child who may need multiple surgeries over the next decade, an early settlement can leave the real value of the case on the table. They want to close the file while you're still thinking about stitches. You should be thinking about the next 15 years, not the next 15 days. One more thing, if your child's case involves a settlement, Maryland law may require court approval and a structured settlement perhaps, or trust to protect the funds until your child reaches adulthood. An attorney who handles children dog bite cases will know how to navigate these issues. What to demand: a full evaluation of current and future medical costs, including plastic surgery, consultations, and therapy, before any settlement discussion even begins. The defense that doesn't work on kids: they can't blame a 5-year-old, so they'll blame you. In adult dog bite cases, contributory negligence is the insurance company's most powerful weapon. If they can argue you were even 1% at fault, they can try to bar your entire claim under Maryland law. But with children, that weapon weakens dramatically or is not usable at all. Maryland law presumes that children under certain ages are incapable of contributory negligence. They cannot be held to an adult standard for anticipating danger. For children older than certain ages, the standard adjusts. Certain ages are not expected to read a dog's body language or understand the risk of approaching an unfamiliar animal the way an adult would. The younger the child, the harder it is for the insurance company to make a powerful defense like contributory negligence stick. But here's the shift the adjuster makes. When they can't blame the child, sometimes, in certain cases, they try to blame you, the parent. Was the child supervised? Were you in the room when it happened? What did you know? Had you been told the dog was nervous around children? Did you leave your child alone with the animal? Under Maryland law, sometimes an insurance company will argue that the negligence of the parent is independent and superseding. That's the adjuster's backup play. It often doesn't work, but they try. They don't need to prove that the 7-year-old provoked the dog. They need to try to build a case against you and that you should have prevented the situation. This is why what you say in the hours and days after the bite matters as much as the bite itself. Every casual comment to the dog's owner, every offhand remark to the adjuster about your child being a little rough or not listening becomes material for their argument. What to protect: your own statements. The adjuster's fallback is parent negligence. Don't give them the material to build that argument. What Maryland law gives your child? The child's clock and your clock are not the same. Maryland gives dog bite victims two powerful legal paths: strict liability when the dog was running at large, free, unrestrained, not under control, and the rebuttable presumption under Section 3-1901 of evidence that a dog caused injury presumes the owner knew or should have known that the dog was dangerous. I covered both of those issues in detail in our dog bite claim video. Go watch that one for the full legal framework of dog bite law in Maryland. What's different for children is the timeline. Maryland's statute of limitation for minors may extend until the child's 21st birthday. That gives you more than the 3-year window that adults have. Here's what parents miss. That extended timeline applies to the child's claim. Your own claim as a parent, if you have one, lost wages from caring for your child, medical expenses that you paid out of pocket, your own emotional distress, will run on the standard 3-year clock under CJP Section 5-101. If you assume that your child's extended statute deadline protects you, you will lose your claims while waiting. Don't wait. The earlier you act, the stronger the evidence, the more complete the medical picture, and the better positioned your attorney is to fight the early settlement the insurance company wants to pitch. What to know: your child may have until age 21 to file. Your own claims as a parent may not. Talk to an attorney now. Don't wait for 3 years. The biggest mistake parents make after a child's dog bite is settling before they understand what the case is actually worth. The insurance company wants to close the file fast. Your child's recovery may take years. If you want to understand how dog bite claims work when the owner is someone you care about, watch our video on filing a dog bite claim against a friend here in Maryland. If your child was bitten by a dog in Maryland, call Zirkin and Schmerling Injury Lawyers. The consultation is free. I'm Bobby Zirkin, and when a child gets hurt, I don't let anyone's insurance company hide behind a parent's guilt.